Leave the storm behind. Take a moment to stand here with your back against the heavy oak door. Feel the solid wood behind you, a barrier between the chaos of the world outside and the sanctuary within. Out there, the wind is searching for a way in, scratching at the stone walls, demanding attention. But in here, the air is still. It is waiting for you. Take a deep breath. Can you smell it? That is the scent of centuries. The world you left behind, the stress, the deadlines, the noise, the demands. It is all on the other side of that heavy oak door, miles and miles away. You are alone, but you are not lonely. You are in the company of a million words, a million thoughts, all resting quietly on the shelves. You are solitary, and it is a luxury. Slowly you turn back to the fire. You reach out your hands towards the warmth. You can feel the heat radiating against your palms, pushing back the numbness in your fingers. It is a gentle heat, like a warm blanket being wrapped around your shoulders. Listen to the fire. It has its own language. The snap of a dry twig, the deep low rumble of a heavy log breaking down into glowing coals, the soft hiss of sap escaping from the wood. It is a lullaby that has been sung since the dawn of time. You look at the armchair. It is high-backed, upholstered in worn, soft velvet, the colour of burgundy wine. It looks like it has held many dreamers before you. You lower yourself into it, sinking, sinking, sinking. The cushions accept your weight completely. You let your head fall back against the headrest. You let your legs stretch out towards the hearth. Your eyelids feel heavy, not from exhaustion, but from permission. You have permission to rest. You have permission to do absolutely nothing for the next hour, or two, or forever. This is your world, just the firelight, the books, and the rain, tapping gently against the high stained glass windows, far, far above. You are safe. You are warm. You are here. It is a perfume of dry paper, of leather bindings, of beeswax polish on ancient wood, and the faint sweet trace of vanilla that old books exhale when they have been sleeping for a long time. You are safe now. The cold cannot touch you. The noise cannot find you. You unbutton your heavy winter coat. It feels wet and heavy on your shoulders, burdened by the storm. You slide it off, letting the weight drop away. You hang it on the brass hook by the door. Drip, drip. The water falls from your coat onto the stone floor, but even that sound is swallowed by the vastness of the room ahead. You are in the foyer of the Blackwood Manor Library. It is midnight, or perhaps a little past. Time works differently in a place like this. The clocks tick, yes, but they do not seem to be counting seconds. They are simply breathing. Look down at your feet. You are standing on a rug woven with deep crimsons and midnight blues so thick that your boots sink into it, silencing your steps. You begin to walk, not with a destination but with a drift. To your left and right, the shadows are long and soft. The only light comes from the far end of the hall, a golden flickering glow that promises warmth. It calls to you like a lighthouse guiding a ship home. As you move deeper into the room, The ceiling seems to rise, disappearing into the darkness above. You can sense the height of it. It feels like a cathedral, dedicated not to gods, but to stories, to silence. You run your hand along the wall as you walk. The wood paneling is cool and smooth under your fingertips. It is dark walnut, carved with patterns of vines and leaves by hands that have long since come to rest. You can feel the craftsmanship, the patience in every curve. The storm outside is just a memory now, a distant rumour. Here, there is only the rhythmic sound of your own breathing and the slow, steady beat of your heart, beginning to match the slow, steady atmosphere of the room. You reach the archway that separates the foyer from the main library. Pause here. Framed by the arch, you see it, the heart of the manor. It is a room so vast, it feels like a world of its own. Walls lined from floor to ceiling, with books, thousands upon thousands of them. They are like sleeping sentinels standing guard in rows of brown, red, green and gold. And there, in the centre of the far wall, is the fireplace. It is massive, built of rough-hewn grey stone that reaches all the way to the ceiling. Within its cavernous mouth a fire is roaring. Not a wild, dangerous fire, but a tamed domestic one. Logs of birch and oak are burning steadily, casting a dancing amber light that washes over the leather armchairs, arranged in a semicircle before it. The light flickers across the spines of the books, making the gold lettering shimmer as if the books are winking at you. You feel a pull towards that warmth. Your body, still remembering the chill of the rain, craves it. You walk across the wide floorboards. They are polished to a shine reflecting the firelight like a dark lake. Creak, creak. The floor whispers under your weight a welcoming sound, a sound that says, "You belong here." You approach the seating area. There is a small table beside the largest armchair. On it, a porcelain cup sits waiting. A wisp of steam rises from it, curling into the air like a ghost twisting and vanishing. It is tea, chamomile, and honey. You can smell the sweetness from here. Someone knew you were coming. Someone prepared this space just for you. But before you sit, you turn to look back at the way you came. The door is lost in the shadows now. You are settled now. The velvet of the armchair has warmed beneath you, conforming to your shape. You are no longer a visitor. You are a part of the room. Take a moment to simply look, to really see. In our busy lives, we rarely look at anything for longer than a few seconds. We glance, we scan, we scroll, but here there is no need to hurry. The objects in this room have stood in their places for 100 years, and they are in no rush to move. Let your gaze drift back to the fireplace. There is a smell here, too, that becomes clearer as you sit. Underneath the scent of old paper and wood smoke, there is something else. Leather. The rich, earthy scent of thousands of leather-bound books. And faint lavender, perhaps from a dried bouquet tucked away in a vase, somewhere in the shadows. It is a clean herbal scent that clears the mind. You take a deep breath in, and you let it out. Your shoulders drop another inch. the tension in your jaw unspools. The Grand Hall is not just a room of objects. It is a room of stories. Every item here has a history, a secret, a past. But tonight they are not asking you to listen to their stories. They are simply keeping you company in the silence. You feel a gentle urge to move just a little. Not to leave, but to explore. To touch the spines of the sleeping books. To see what titles are resting on the shelves nearby. Slowly, reluctantly, you shift your weight in the chair. You decide to stand up. Your movement is slow, like moving through water. You leave the warmth of the fire for a moment, stepping onto the soft Persian rug. You turn towards the nearest wall of books. The shadows welcome you. The shelves are waiting. It is the anchor of the room. Look closely at the stone. It is rough-hewn granite, cool and grey at the edges, but blackened with soot in the centre. The memories of 1,000 fires that burned before this one. Watch the flames. They are the only things in this room that are moving quickly, yet they are mesmerizing. See how the colours shift. At the base of the logs, the fire is a deep, glowing blue. Higher up, it turns to a vibrant orange, and at the very tips, it fades into a pale dancing yellow, before disappearing into smoke. A log settles. A flurry of sparks rises up the chimney like a swarm of tiny golden fireflies. They swirl for a moment, brilliant and bright, before vanishing into the dark throat of the flue. Above the fire is the mantelpiece. It is a massive slab of dark oak, thick and solid. Resting upon it are objects of curiosity. There is a ship in a bottle, its tiny sails forever filled with an imaginary wind. There are brass candlesticks holding tall white candles that are currently unlit, their wicks waiting patiently. And in the centre, a clock. It is made of mahogany and brass. Its face is cream-coloured with elegant Roman numerals painted in black ink. Listen to it. Tick, tock, tick, tock. It is not a demanding sound. It is a heartbeat. Steady, reliable, unchanging. It tells you that time is passing, but it does not demand that you fill that time with action. It simply measures the peace. Now let your eyes wander upward. The ceiling of the Grand Hall is high, so high that the corners are lost in shadow, but where the firelight reaches, you can see heavy wooden beams crossing the space. They are like the ribs of a great wooden whale, protecting everything inside. Between the beams, shadows play. As the fire dances below, the shadows dance above. They lengthen and shorten, stretching and contracting in a silent, slow-motion waltz. Watching them makes your eyelids feel even heavier. The light in here is amber. It is gold. It is soft. Contrast that with the windows. High up on the walls, above the bookshelves, there are tall, narrow windows. Through the leaded glass, you can see the night. It is a deep, bruised purple and blue. You can see the rain streaking against the glass, distorting the moonlight. It looks cold out there, so beautifully cold. And that coldness makes the warmth in here feel even more precious. You pull the imaginary blanket of heat tighter around you. Look around the rest of the room. This isn't just a room, it is a gallery of silence. To your right, standing on a pedestal, is a large globe. It is sepia-toned, an antique map of a world that used to be. The oceans are painted a faded teal, the continents a dusty tan. If you were to spin it, it would make a low whirring sound, but for now the world stands still. Near the globe, a rolling ladder clings to the towering bookshelves. It is made of polished wood with brass wheels that fit onto a rail running along the shelves. It invites you to climb to reach the highest books that dwell in the dust and shadows near the ceiling. But not yet. Climbing is for later, or perhaps for never. For now, the floor is enough. Do you see the dust motes? Look at the space between you and the lamp on the side table. Tiny microscopic specks of dust are floating in the beam of light. They drift aimlessly. They do not struggle against the air. They simply ride the gentle currents of warmth rising from the fire, up and down, swirling and settling. Imagine you are one of those specks of dust, weightless, without a destination, just floating in the warm golden air of the library. You have left the island of light by the fireplace. Now you are entering the shadows. But do not be afraid. The shadows here are soft, like velvet. They are not hiding anything. They are simply resting. You stand at the entrance of the first aisle. To your left and to your right, the bookshelves rise up like cliffs in a canyon. They are made of dark mahogany, towering towards the ceiling, so high that the tops disappear into the gloom. You feel small here, but it is a good kind of small. You are surrounded by the collective dreams of humanity, bound in leather and paper, keeping watch over you. A wave of relaxation washes over you, starting from the top of your head and flowing down to your shoulders, your arms, your fingertips. Your hand drops to your side. The urge to touch fades, replaced by the urge to be still. You turn around. The path back to the fire is clear, but there is another path leading deeper into the back of the library, towards the section where the maps are kept, the maps of places that do not exist. You feel a gentle pull in that direction, a slow magnetic drift. You take a step. It is the feeling of being a child again, wandering through a forest of giants who mean you no harm. You take a step forward. The air is cooler here, away from the fire. It feels crisp, refreshing against your skin. It smells intensely of paper, that dry, sweet, dusty scent that only exists in places where time has stopped. It smells of vanilla, of almond, of old glue and leather. It is the perfume of history. Lift your right hand, slowly. Reach out towards the books. You don't need to read them. Tonight is not for learning. Tonight is just for feeling. Your fingertips brush against the first spine. It is cool and smooth. Leather, calfskin perhaps. You can feel the slight grain under your thumb, the tiny imperfections that make it real. You slide your hand to the next one. This one is different. It is rougher, cloth-bound. The fabric weave feels like a tiny grid against your skin. It is warm to the touch, retaining a memory of the day it was made, perhaps 100 years ago. Walk slowly down the aisle. Let your hand trail along the row of books. Bump, bump, bump. It is a rhythm, like a stick rattling along a fence, but softer, much softer. Some spines are thick and wide, guarding long, heavy stories. Some are thin, barely wide enough for a title holding poetry or secrets. Some are cracked, with age peeling slightly, like the bark of an old tree. You trace the golden letters embossed on a spine. You cannot read the title in the dim light, and you do not try. The shape of the letters is enough. You feel the indentation of the A, the curve of the S, the sharp line of the T. Gold leaf, pressed into the leather by a craftsman who worked by candlelight, just as you walk by candlelight now. You stop. You pull a book gently from the shelf, just an inch. It slides out with a heavy resistance, creating a friction that vibrates slightly in your hand. You don't take it out completely. You just wanted to feel its weight, to acknowledge its presence. You push it back in. It joins its brothers and sisters again. Safe. You look up. The ladder is here. The rolling library ladder we saw from across the room. Up close, it is a masterpiece of engineering. The brass rails gleam faintly in the stray beams of moonlight filtering through the high windows. You place your hand on the side of the ladder. The wood is polished smooth by thousands of hands that have climbed it before. It feels solid, grounded. You imagine climbing it, up, 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 into the warmer air near the ceiling, up where the dust motes dance undisturbed. From up there, the fireplace would look like a distant campfire. From up there, you would be floating above the world of words, but your feet are heavy, happily heavy. You decide to stay on the ground. You continue your walk. The aisle opens up into a small alcove, a dead end or perhaps a private sanctuary within the sanctuary. There is a small round window here. Rain is streaming down the glass, distorting the view of the garden outside. The trees are just dark shapes swaying in the wind. Inside it is so quiet you can hear the blood rushing in your ears. Whoosh, whoosh. You lean against the wooden shelf. You are surrounded by millions of words. Think of it, millions of characters falling in love, fighting battles, discovering new lands, solving mysteries, all silent, all sleeping. They are waiting for a reader to wake them up, but not tonight. Tonight, let them sleep, and you shall sleep with them. You are not alone. You have arrived, tucked away in the quietest corner of the library. Far from the grand fireplace is the map alcove. It is a small, semicircular room, embraced by curved walls. The air here smells different. It smells less like leather and more like dry parchment ink and dust. It smells of old voyages and long-forgotten winds. In the center of the alcove stands a large slanted drafting table made of pale oak. Your hand stops tracing the river. It rests on the cool paper. You can feel the texture of the fibers under your palm, grounding you. You realize that you don't need to see the whole map. You don't need to know what is on the other side of the mountain. It is enough to be here at the river's edge, watching the paper water flow into the paper sea. The rain outside the library window taps a little louder for a moment, reminding you that you are warm, you are dry, you are safe indoors, looking at a world that can never hurt you. Slowly, you decide to leave the island. You lift the brass weights. The map curls back up on its own, hiding its secrets once more. You tie the lavender ribbon back around it. You slide it back into its cubbyhole. It is safe there. It will be waiting for you the next time you need to escape. But for now, your eyes are tired of looking. Your mind is tired of traveling. You crave something simpler. You crave stillness. You turn away from the map alcove. Ahead of you, a spiral staircase winds its way up to the darkness of the mezzanine level. But below it, near the base, there is a small reading nook, a place of soft cushions and dim light. And there, resting on a small table, is a book, not a map, but a journal, a record of small, beautiful things. You move towards it. Its surface is scarred with the marks of compass points and rulers from a century ago, tiny scratches that tell the story of someone trying to capture the world on paper. Behind the table is a wall of cubbyholes, hundreds of them, honeycombs of wood. Resting inside each one is a rolled-up scroll. Some are thick, some are thin, some are tied with faded ribbons of blue or red. Others are bound with simple twine. These are not maps of the world you know. There are no highways here, no borders drawn by politics. These are maps of the world as it was dreamed. You step up to the drafting table. There is a high stool there, upholstered in soft leather. You lean against the table, taking the weight off your feet. You reach out to one of the cubbyholes. Your hand hovers, guided by instinct. You choose a scroll tied with a ribbon, the color of dried lavender. You pull it out. It is light, fragile. It feels like holding a dried leaf from an autumn long past. You place it on the table. You untie the ribbon. It falls away, silently, releasing the paper from its long sleep. Slowly, carefully, you begin to unroll it. The paper resists, slightly wanting to curl back up, but you gently press it flat. You find two heavy brass weights sitting on the edge of the table, smooth, cold spheres of metal. You place one on each corner of the map to hold it down. Now look. The paper is creamy and yellowed, like old ivory. The ink is faded, turning from black to a soft sepia and iron grey. It is a map of an island that does not exist on any globe. Trace the coastline with your eyes. It is jagged and wild, drawn with a fine wavering hand. There are inlets and bays, peninsulas stretching out into a paper ocean. The ocean is stippled with tiny dots, representing the vastness of the water. Here and there, the cartographer has drawn a ship, tiny galleons with billowing sails, forever frozen on their journey to nowhere. Look at the names written in elegant flowing script. The Bay of Silence, Whispering Peaks, the Forest of Echoes. You lift your finger and place it on the map. You trace the path of a river. It starts high in the mountains, drawn as little bumps in the center of the island and winds its way down through the valleys, twisting and turning until it meets the sea. Imagine you are on a small boat on that ink river, drifting. The current is slow, the water is clear. The trees on the banks are tall and green, leaning over to shade you. There is no sound there but the dip of your oar and the song of birds you have never seen. You follow the river to the coast. You see a lighthouse drawn on a rocky promontory. Tiny lines radiate from its lantern, representing light. A beacon for no one. A light for the sake of light. You feel a sense of immense freedom. On this map, you are not who you are out there in the waking world. You have no name. You have no history. You are simply an observer floating above this paper landscape. You look at the empty spaces on the map, the terra incognita, the unknown lands. The cartographer has left them blank, save for a few drawings of sea monsters or clouds. But these are not monsters to be feared. They are friendly giants, swimming in the deep inkwash oceans. They are guardians of the silence. Your eyes begin to lose focus. The lines of the map blur slightly. The sepia ink blends with the cream paper. The island seems to float. You are drifting away from the library now. The smell of old books is fading, replaced by the imaginary scent of salt air and pine needles from the map. Breathe in the fresh, cool air of the island. Breathe out, letting go of the library, letting go of the room. You are traveling without moving. You are wandering without walking. You have found the nook. It is a small space carved out beneath the curve of the spiral staircase. It feels like a secret cave lined with wood and velvet. There is a single lamp here casting a pool of warm yellow light onto a small mahogany table, and on the table lies the book. It is not like the others. It has no gold lettering on the spine, no grand title. It is bound in green cloth, the colour of moss found deep in an old forest. And you feel that too. It is time to go deeper inside. Inside the library, inside your own rest. You gently close the book. You place your hand on the cover for a moment, thanking the botanist for sharing their garden. You leave the green book on the table under the warm lamp. It will be there tomorrow and the day after. You stand up from the nook. Your legs feel heavy grounded. Your mind is clear, washed clean by the images of ferns and flowers. To your left, the spiral staircase winds upward. It is made of wrought iron, elegant and twisting like a vine itself. It leads to the mezzanine, the upper level of the library, where the shadows are deepest and the stars are closest. You place your hand on the cool iron railing. It feels solid. You look up. The darkness above is inviting. It promises sleep. You take the first step. The corners are worn soft, frayed by the hands of someone who carried it in a pocket out into the fields, out into the wild. You sit down on the cushioned bench. It is narrow but comfortable, wrapping around you like a hug. You reach out and touch the cover of the green book. It feels rough and organic, sturdy. You open it. The first thing that hits you is the smell. It does not smell of dust. It smells of dried lavender, of crushed sage of earth, and sunlight trapped in paper for 50 years. You turn the first page. There is no printed text here, only handwriting, beautiful looping cursive written in fountain pen ink that has faded to a soft indigo blue. It is a journal, a field guide to a garden that perhaps no longer exists. You lean in closer. The light from the lamp illuminates a sketch on the left-hand page. It is a drawing of a fern, the silver-tip fern. The handwriting says, "The artist has drawn every frond with painstaking care." You can see the tiny individual leaves curling at the tips. They look soft, even on paper. You trace the line of the stem with your eyes. It is graceful, arching across the page, like a dancer's arm. Next to the drawing, a real fern leaf has been pressed and preserved. It is brown now, brittle and delicate as lace. A ghost of the summer. It was picked. You read the note below it, found near the creek early morning. The dew was still heavy on them. They look like they are holding the moonlight. You turn the page. A new drawing appears. A flower this time, the night-blooming jasmine. The sketch is shaded with charcoal to show the darkness of the night around the white petals. The petals are drawn open, starry, and wide, as if they are singing to the moon. You can almost smell the perfume, sweet, heavy, intoxicating, the kind of scent that drifts through an open window on a warm summer night and makes you close your eyes. The handwriting continues. It only opens when the house is asleep. A secret beauty. I sat and watched it for an hour tonight. It blooms not for the sun, but for the silence. You smile. You are sharing a quiet moment with a stranger from the past. You are both watchers of the silence. Turn the page again. Here, there are no words, just a watercolor painting. It is a study of rain. The artist has painted a view from a window, perhaps this very window. Grey washes of colour, but the sky. Streaks of blue and silver for the rain, and in the foreground, bright green drops of water clinging to a spiderweb. It is peaceful. It captures that specific feeling of a rainy afternoon when there is nowhere to go and nothing to do but watch the water fall. You look at the way the watercolours have blended into the paper. The edges are soft, fuzzy. There are no sharp lines in nature, and there are no sharp lines here. Everything flows. Everything merges. Your eyes follow the flow of the paint, down, down, dripping like the rain itself. You feel a heaviness in your chest, but it is a good heaviness. It is the weight of relaxation. Your breathing has slowed down to match the rhythm of the imaginary rain in the painting. Inhale, smelling the paper and the dried flowers. Exhale, letting go of the day. You turn a few more pages just listening to the sound. Sketches of mushrooms with round spotted caps. Sketches of roots tangling deep underground. Sketches of clouds passing over a hill. Each page is a lullaby for your eyes. Simple things, quiet things, things that do not demand your attention but reward it. You come to the end of an entry. The ink trails off as if the writer grew tired. The sun is setting, it reads. The shadows are long. It is time to go inside. You are standing at the base of the spiral. Look up. The staircase twists upward like a ribbon of dark wood and iron coiling towards the shadows of the mezzanine level. It looks like a shell. It looks like a strand of DNA. It looks like a path to the stars. You take a deep breath, preparing for the climb. But this is not a climb that requires effort. In this library, gravity seems to have less of a hold on you. You feel light, buoyant. You place your hand on the railing, a messenger from the universe telling you that the storm will pass, that the stars are always there even when you cannot see them. You turn away from the railing. The mezzanine is lined with bookcases too, but they are smaller here, shorter, and at the far end of the gallery, nestled under the slope of the roof, there is a telescope. It is brass pointed towards a skylight, the astronomer's corner. It calls to you. It invites you to look beyond the library, beyond the rain, and into the infinite quiet of space. You begin to walk towards it. Your footsteps are silent on the wool rug. You are a ghost. You are a shadow. You are peace personified. It is wrought iron cool and solid beneath your palm. It is smooth, worn down by generations of hands that have guided themselves up these same steps. It is your anchor. As long as you hold this railing, you are safe. You take the second step, and the third. Round and round you go. The motion is hypnotic. With every step, you are turning away from the room below, and then turning back towards it, but from a slightly higher vantage point. Step and turn. Step and turn. The view begins to change. The heavy oak tables, the armchairs, the rugs, they are all shrinking. They are becoming a miniature world. You pause halfway up to look down. From here, the library looks like a labyrinth of knowledge. The rows of bookshelves create a pattern, a maze of dark wood and colourful spines. You can see the path you walked earlier, from the door to the fire to the map alcove. It all seems so far away now. The fireplace, which felt so massive when you were sitting in front of it, is now just a warm, glowing ember in the distance. The firelight spills out onto the floor like liquid gold, but it cannot reach you here. Here in the middle of the air, the shadows are your companions. You continue to climb. The air changes as you ascend. Heat rises, they say, and it is true. The air up here feels warmer, thicker. It holds the scent of old paper more strongly. It is a dry, cozy heat that wraps around your shoulders like a shawl. You are moving closer to the ceiling. You can see the details of the wooden beams now, the rough grain of the timber, the iron bolts holding the structure together. You are seeing the bones of the house. You count the steps in your mind to keep the rhythm. 1, 2, 3. There is no rush to reach the top. The journey is the destination. The spiral is a cradle, rocking you gently as you move upward. You can hear the rain on the roof more clearly now. It is just above your head. Only a few layers of slate and wood separate you from the storm, but that separation is absolute. The closeness of the rain only emphasizes your protection. You are tucked away in the attic of the world. One final turn. The railing curves sharply. Your hand follows the cool metal, and then your foot lands on a flat surface. You have arrived. The mezzanine. It is a narrow gallery that runs along the upper walls of the library, overlooking the grand hall below. The floor here is covered in a long narrow runner rug, thick soft wool in muted shades of indigo and grey. You walk towards the edge of the balcony. You rest your hands on the wooden balustrade and look out. The view is breathtaking in its stillness. The library stretches out below you, a cavern of silence. You are the watcher in the tower. You are the guardian of the books. From this height you feel a profound sense of detachment. The worries that followed you into the room, they are down there on the floor. They cannot climb the spiral stairs. They are too heavy. You have left them behind. Up here there is only you and the dust motes. They are floating around you, catching the faint light from the high windows. Speaking of windows, you are eye level with them now. The tall, stained glass windows that seemed so high up before are now right in front of you. You can see the rain streaking down the glass in rivulets. You can see the night sky pressing against the panes. It is a deep, dark blue, almost black. But wait, look closely at the glass. The storm is breaking. The clouds are moving fast, torn apart by the wind. And in the gaps between the clouds, something is glittering. A star, just one, lonely and bright. It winks at you through the wet glass. You have reached the sanctuary of the stars. Here under the slope of the roof, the library feels different. The air is thinner. The smell of old books is fainter, replaced by the scent of cold glass and polished metal. Before you stands the telescope. It is a magnificent instrument, a long tube of heavy brass mounted on a tripod of dark oak. It points upward towards a large circular skylight that has been cut into the slate roof. The storm has passed. It is time to explore the depth. The clouds, which were heavy and grey, have broken apart. They are drifting away like ships sailing off the edge of the world, leaving behind a sky of absolute clarity. You step closer to the telescope. You reach out and touch the barrel of the instrument. It is cold. Not an unpleasant cold, but a clean, sharp coolness. It feels like touching the night itself. The brass is smooth under your fingers, solid and heavy. It anchors you to the floor while your eyes prepare to leave the earth. You lean forward. You close one eye. You place the other against the eyepiece. At first, there is only darkness, a velvet blackness. You reach for the small brass wheel on the side, the focus knob. You turn it slowly. Click, click, and then light. It blooms in the darkness. Sudden, brilliant, silent. The moon. It fills your vision. A glowing sphere of silver and pearl hanging in the void. Through the glass, You can see the landscape of another world. You see the Maria, the seas of tranquility, vast flat plains of grey dust where no wind ever blows. You see the craters, the scars of ancient impacts standing silent and still for 1 billion years. There is no sound on the moon, no noise, no traffic, no voices, just eternal, perfect silence. Imagine standing there. Imagine the weight of your body disappearing. You are light as a feather, bounding across the grey dust, in slow motion, floating, settling, floating, settling. You feel a sense of cool relief washing over your mind. Looking at something so old, so distant, makes the troubles of today feel very small. They shrink until they are nothing more than specks of dust lost in the crater of a dead world. You adjust the telescope slightly. The view shifts. The moon slides out of frame, and you are looking deeper into the black. And there they are, the stars. To the naked eye, they are just twinkling dots, but through the lens, they are diamonds. They are shards of ice on black velvet. They are burning with a cold white fire that has travelled across time just to reach your eye tonight. The light you are seeing left those stars years ago, decades ago, centuries ago. You are looking into the past. The library below you holds the history of the earth, but up here you are looking at the history of the universe. You feel a strange expansion in your chest, a feeling of awe. You are part of this. You are made of the same atoms as those stars. You are stardust, briefly awake, looking back at your origins. It is a comforting thought. You belong to the sky just as much as you belong to the earth. Your eye begins to tire just a little. The brightness of the stars is hypnotic but intense. You pull back from the eyepiece. You blink, readjusting to the dim amber light of the library. You stand straight again. You look up at the skylight one last time with your own eyes. The square of the night sky looks like a painting now, a masterpiece framed in wood. You feel lighter. The climb up the stairs, the view of the moon, it has lifted a weight from your shoulders that you didn't even know you were carrying. You turn away from the telescope. Next to the tripod, there is a small reading stand, and on it, a single book is waiting. It is large, heavy. Its cover is a deep, shimmering blue, the color of the midnight ocean. You feel a pull towards it, from the sky to the sea, from the vastness above to the vastness below. You realize that you are ready to descend, not back to the ground floor yet, but into the depths of sleep, and the ocean is the perfect place to drift. You pick up the blue book. It is substantial. It feels cool to the touch, like a smooth stone from a riverbed. You carry it with you. You see a chaise lounge nearby, positioned perfectly under the slope of the roof where the moonlight falls. You move towards it. You have found the chaise lounge. It sits perfectly positioned under the slope of the roof, bathed in the pale silver light of the moon you just visited. It is upholstered in deep indigo velvet, soft and cool to the touch. You lie down. You extend your legs. You let your head sink back into the bolster. The support is firm yet yielding. Your body, tired from the climb, grateful for the rest, begins to melt into the furniture. You hold the heavy blue book in your hands, not out into the world, but back to the center, back to the warmth. You remember the fire downstairs. It is calling you back, not to wake you, but to tuck you in. You slowly swing your legs off the chaise lounge. Your movements are languid, slow motion, like a diver walking on the ocean floor. You stand up. You leave the telescope, the stars, and the ocean behind. You turn towards the spiral staircase. Going down is always easier than going up. It feels substantial. Resting it on your chest feels like a weighted blanket, a comforting pressure that tells your nervous system it is safe to let go. You open the cover. There is no title page, no introduction, just colour. The first page is a wash of pale turquoise. It is the colour of the shallow sea, where the sunlight dances on the sand ripples below. You turn the page. The blue gets a little deeper, a little richer, cobalt. You are going deeper. You turn again, royal blue, and again, midnight blue. With every page you turn, you are descending. You are leaving the surface world behind, the world of noise, of wind, of gravity. Imagine for a moment that you are not reading a book. Imagine that the book is a portal. As you look at the deep blue pages, the library around you begins to dissolve. The walls of the manor soften. The ceiling fades. You are submerged, but you do not need to hold your breath. In this dream, ocean breathing is effortless. The water is not heavy. It is an embrace. It supports you completely. Feel the sensation of weightlessness. Your arms floating. Your legs floating. Your spine lengthening and relaxing as gravity releases its hold on you. You are drifting down, slowly, so slowly, like a leaf sinking through a still pond, drifting, turning, sinking. The light from the surface is far above you now. It is just a shimmering ceiling of silver. Down here, it is quiet. The silence of the ocean is different from the silence of the library. It is a thick, cushioned silence. It wraps around your ears like cotton. Listen, the song of a whale miles away. It vibrates through the water, passing through you. It is a lullaby from the giants of the deep. They are swimming slowly, their massive flukes moving with a graceful rhythmic power. You turn the page of the book again. The page is almost black now, the abyss, but it is not empty. The artist has painted points of light, bioluminescence. Tiny glowing jellyfish drift across the dark paper. They pulse with a soft neon blue light. Pulse, fade, pulse, fade. Watch them. They do not struggle against the current. They surrender to it. They let the ocean take them where it wills. You are like them. You do not need to steer. You do not need to swim. You only need to be. The water is cool against your skin, soothing the heat of the day. It washes away the tension in your forehead. It washes away the tightness in your jaw. You see a school of silver fish moving as one entity. They turn and flash, turning and flashing, a river of mercury flowing through the dark. Their movement is hypnotic, back and forth, back and forth. You feel a deep, heavy relaxation settling into your bones. It feels as if your body is made of sand, heavy and loose, settling on the soft, sandy floor of the ocean. You are so deep now that the surface world is just a memory. There are no emails here, no phone calls, no deadlines. The ocean does not care about time. Here, a minute is the same as an hour is the same as a century. You are suspended in the eternal now. You look at the page one last time. The darkness of the paper matches the heaviness of your eyelids. It is becoming hard to keep your eyes open. The blue is too deep. The comfort is too strong. You decide to close the book. You leave the book resting on your chest. Its weight anchors you, but in your mind you are still floating. You are still drifting in that safe, dark, weightless place. You are back in the library, on the indigo chaise lounge, but the feeling of the water remains. The air in the room feels thick and fluid. The moonlight feels like light filtering through water. You are safe. You are deep. You are ready to let go completely. There is one final journey to take. You are descending, one step at a time, down, down, down. Going down is effortless. Gravity is your friend now. It is gently pulling you back to the earth, back to the center of the house. With every step, the air around you grows warmer. The coolness of the starlight and the ocean is replaced by the rich toasted scent of the fire. You reach the bottom of the spiral staircase. You are back in the grand hall. It feels different now, more familiar, more yours. The shadows have stopped dancing. They are resting in the corners, still and heavy. You walk slowly across the rug. Your legs feel pleasantly heavy, filled with a sweet lethargy. It is the feeling of a long journey completed. You do not need to explore anymore. You do not need to search for anything else. Everything you need is right here. You approach the fireplace. The fire has changed while you were away. The high leaping flames have settled down. Now it is a bed of deep glowing coals, pulsing with a steady red-gold heat. Glow, dim, glow. It looks like the breathing of the earth itself. It is a sleepy fire, a fire that is ready to rest, just like you. On the small side table next to your velvet armchair, the teapot is still waiting. It is made of white porcelain, smooth and round. You reach out and touch the side of the pot. It is still warm, perfectly warm. You lift it. You pour the tea into your cup. Steam rises from the cup. It swirls in the golden light, a ribbon of white mist. You lift the cup to your lips. The smell is comforting. Chamomile, honey, a hint of vanilla. You take a sip. The warmth spreads through you instantly. It travels down your throat, into your chest, radiating out to your fingertips and your toes. It is liquid relaxation. It melts away the last tiny knots of tension in your shoulders. It unties the tightness in your back. You lower the cup. You turn to the armchair, your sanctuary. It looks even more inviting than before. The velvet seems softer, deeper. There is a knitted wool blanket draped over the armrest. It is chunky and thick, the colour of oatmeal. You sit down. You pull the wool blanket over you. You tuck it around your legs. You pull it up to your chin. You are cocooned. You are swaddled in warmth. The weight of the blanket is reassuring. It holds you in the chair. It tells your body, stay here, rest here. You look at the glowing embers one more time. They are mesmerizing, a landscape of caves and mountains made of fire. Your eyes trace the patterns in the coals, red, orange, grey ash, forming at the edges. Your blink rate is slowing down. Your eyelids feel so heavy now. They are like heavy velvet curtains wanting to close. It is becoming a struggle to keep them open. And why struggle? There is nothing left to see. You have seen the storm. You have seen the books. You have seen the stars. You have seen the ocean. Now there is only the warmth and the silence and the slow, steady beat of your own heart. Thump, 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 thump. The library is watching over you. The books are standing guard. The walls are protecting you. You are safe. You are home. The fire is just a glow now, a deep, dark red pulsing in the ashes. It is the heartbeat of the night, slow, steady, fading. You are still here, wrapped in the wool, sinking into the velvet, held by the silence. Your eyes are closed. You do not need to open them again. There is nothing left to see. The library has done its work. The stories have all gone back to sleep on their shelves. Now it is your turn. Focus on your breath. Feel the air entering your body, cool and calm. Feel it leaving, warm and heavy. With every breath out, you are sinking deeper into the chair, deeper into the warmth, deeper into yourself. Let us turn off the lights in the house of your body, one by one. Focus on your feet. They have walked far today. They have climbed stairs. They have explored islands. Now they are heavy, like stone. Let them sleep. Good night, feet. Focus on your hands. They are resting on your lap. Curl your fingers slightly. Let go of any tension holding them.
She walked to the window. Down in the garden a man was tending to the roses. He looked up, saw her, and waved. It was no fairy tale ending of fireworks and fanfare. It was something better. It was a quiet morning. It was the promise of a peaceful day. It was the simple, profound joy of being home.
It feels different now, more familiar, more yours. The shadows have stopped dancing. They are resting in the corners, still and heavy. You walk slowly across the rug. Your legs feel pleasantly heavy, filled with a sweet lethargy. It is the feeling of a long journey completed.
One night, as the snow outside finally began to melt, revealing the first hints of green in the garden, the beast looked at her. "You have stayed," he rumbled softly. "You have not run. Why would I run? Camille answered, closing her book. Here there is peace. Here I am seen. The beast sighed, a sound like the wind settling in the trees. Then I am no longer a prisoner, he whispered, and neither are you.
It is a sleepy fire, a fire that is ready to rest, just like you. On the small side table next to your velvet armchair, the teapot is still waiting. It is made of white porcelain, smooth and round. The fog is getting thicker. You are drifting too. You are untethered. You are floating in the warm, dark space between being awake and being asleep. It is a beautiful place. There is no time here. There is no you here. Just peace. The fire is almost out. Just a single spark, fading into the dark. Fading, fading. The library walls are dissolving. The world is dissolving. You are safe. You are loved. You are asleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep.